shin bone, a lettuce, egg, horseradish, parsley. Here a set. What do all these things have in common? Well, they all belong to a Seder plate during Passover or Pesach in Hebrew. Passover is a well-known holiday that is celebrated by the Jewish people, and a Seder is held on the first two nights of Passover. I chose this event because I was invited to a Seder, and I wanted to experience such an intimate holiday for Jewish people while learning about their history as well. Passover is celebrated early spring and lasts for about 8 days, if celebrated outside of Israel. Today, I will be describing Passover and how the holiday signifies the freeing of the slaves, the Israelites, from Egypt, and it tells the story of Exodus in the Bible. I will be analyzing the principles of Judaism, including artifacts, symbols, and values of the culture. Lastly, I will be personally sharing a reflection of this culture of my own. Literally, everything included in the Passover Seder, is symbolic. And first and foremost, upon entering the Seder, it was set up around the dinner table with my favorite wine. So every seat has a book called a Haggadah that has Hebrew prayers and such inside of it. It also serves as a guide as you go through the Seder. The Seder plate was at the center of the table, and so was a box of matzah. They look like big crackers in a cup of wine. Matzah is unleavened bread, and we will talk more about that later. After everyone was seated, the door was left open so that Elijah, which is the prophet of Israel in the Bible, could come and drink the wine glass in the middle of the table. The Seder is started by explaining what Passover is by using the plagues and setting them up on the Seder plate and talking about the Egyptians. Everyone on the table had their books, their Haggadahs open, and they were reading along. The Haggadahs were in English and in Hebrew. I was asked several times to help read passages and partake in discussions that included singing songs and discussions about freeing of the slaves in Exodus. I came by myself and I expected a formal family dinner vibe, and going into the event was very relaxed, and I learned a lot more than I expected. This event fits in with the larger culture and tradition of the Israelites and the Egyptians. Israelites and Egyptians are the ancestors of the culture represented by the Jews. Moving on now to my analysis. Dinner with another person's family is nerve-wracking enough, but having to interact with a new culture and trying to read in Hebrew added to the butterflies in my stomach, let alone trying to sing in their language. Jewish people practice a lot of rituals such as hand washing, blessing the wine and the bread, and musical prayers, which I found pretty cool. They sing in prayer. The men also wear kippahs on their heads. They're circular hats, which actually resemble that God is always above us, which I thought was pretty cool. Matzah, again, is like a big cracker, but it's important because it represents the Israelites leaving in such a rush that they did not have enough time for the bread to rise. The food on the Seder plate represents bitter tears of the slaves. The egg represents purity, and the shank bone represents sacrificed lamb. The lamb's blood was to be painted above the doorposts so that the angel of death would pass over and not kill the firstborn. The practices and values of the Jewish culture show that they deliver a wonderful mixture of religion, history, and God. It has definitely values, tradition, and Heduism. I say Heduism because they have special dances and they sometimes drink wine like water. The practice I observed was a part of a larger cultural institution called a synagogue, which is like a church for Christians. I was informed that the synagogue holds many of the same practices that I saw that night at the Seder. The Jewish culture is a very collectivistic culture, and they deeply value family. The Jewish culture is also a low context culture where they're very direct to the point in communicating. Furthermore, my emotional reaction to the Seder was excitement, pure joy, and also sadness. because the book we read from told stories of the slaves and how they suffered. As we went through the Seder, we had serious times and fun times, such as searching for the hidden matzah. This observation reveals that my culture is different from the Jewish culture, but the goal is the same, to believe in the Bible and praise God. However, the Jewish cultures and traditions and focusing on the Bible stories are liberating. Christians usually preach grace and the good news of the Bible, focusing mostly on the pretty side, but the Jews practice remembering their roots and where they came from while honoring God in a unique way. It also made me realize that we are all people the same under the sun, but our traditions are really what set us apart. Bringing it all in, we hit three major points about Passover and the Jewish culture. This includes the description of Passover, the analysis of the Jewish culture, and my reaction of the event. This was a great experience, so with that I say peace, or in Hebrew, shalom.